Hello and welcome to another edition of Mailbag. What is Mailbag? Well, Mailbag is a feature of the channel where you guys leave lots of comments on the channel and I attempt to answer those comments, or if I can't answer those comments, I throw it out to you guys who have more knowledge on some of this stuff than I do. So let's get into the first mailbag of this session. Remember, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Go over to Instagram and follow me there. Go over to Facebook, follow me there. That's where the normal notices are. And consider becoming a Patreon. I'm not sure how I pronounce this one, but the next couple of questions comes from Jamuli, I think is the correct way to pronounce that. And it's in response to recurring Roland MX-1 questions, a video I did in November 2021. Let me just move that a bit. Probably like that. Right. Apologies for that, but when you record this stuff, as you well know, you have to have a light there so it shines on your face. Your face is in the shadow, and you need lights above to keep the room ambient lighted. Then you need another light on this side here, and that light kind of lights the backdrop so you pop out of the screen. I know absolutely bugger all about video lighting, I have to be honest, and everything I've learned from doing this channel. Anyway, going back to Juumul, and he writes, or she writes, no, AIRA Link solves a lot of issues. I found that a working solution for MIDI routing problems by using my RTP MIDI network. That's necessary for hardware sequencing. Connect the MX-1 via USB to a computer. At this point, the PC shows MIDI ports for themselves and the additional 4 points for AIRA Link USB ports. I then route MIDI stream into RTP MIDI network via RTP MIDI driver from Icon Activity Milo XL. For each AIRA Link of the MX-1, you have to establish a virtual MIDI port and route the traffic to them. Then you can devise specific routing maps on the Milo XL configuration software. I was able to send notes coming from the JU6A connected to the USB 1 to the JX08 connected to the USB 3 and vice versa. The Milo XL shows MIDI notes coming from the MX-1 attached to the USB synth in the display. All I need is a configured Milo XL and a running computer. So keep the original AIRA Link functionality of MIDI audio on the MX-1, so I can now integrate a hardware sequencer without building auxiliary MIDI string, I think that is, via DIN MIDI. MIDI in combination with Milo XL is nearly perfect for a doorless studio now. Now, first of all, thank you for the info. That was very informative, and I do have the Milo XL interface myself. Or I don't think it's the Milo XL. I think this is the M10 XL interface. If I'm honest, I haven't looked that piece up in my notes. I have to be honest. I've just literally copied down what the commentator said, but I think it's the M10 XL interface. And I have to be honest and say, out of a lot of the interfaces, this company actually makes very, very functional MIDI interfaces for computers. It's a good place to go to get your MIDI interface because their software is extremely functional, if not a little bit cumbersome is probably the way I put it. Once you get your head around it, it's fine, but you do need to work at it to get work out what's going on. But once you've got that set up, then you are in a good position. Now, yes, I understand what you're saying. You need a computer, but if you've got a computer, why haven't you got a door? It's not quite doorless. I mean, the whole concept of a doorless studio or a doorless setup is you don't have to have a computer. You don't have to have the audio interface. You don't have to have that side of it. It's kind of turn up with your instruments in their boxes, plug them in, rig them together, and you're away to go. I'm going to put that's the way I see a doorless setup. It's kind of more hardware rather than software. Whereas when you start using VSTs, etc., you kind of need the door, because you need the door to host the VSTs, or a VST hosting system. I was going to say like a Muse, but that's probably out of the picture, because you probably can't host most of the new VSTs on the Muse anyway. But that was kind of the concept of the Muse. The Muse was that kind of thing. You load the VSTs up onto the Muse, and as long as you could drive it with something, you had a doorless setup. But the MIO XL or M10 XL, whichever way you want to look at it, is, for my connectivity, is a very, very good set of tools. I'm not quite sure about the audio MIDI fit stuff, but definitely from a MIDI side of it, that's the interface I've got. I've got a 10-port MIDI interface that I use with my computer whenever the studio gets reset up. It's all packed away and off down in storage at the moment, but that is what I've had in my studio for the last 5 or 6 years. I think, 4 or 5 years at least. Anyway, thanks for the info. Very, very interesting to read. Next comment or question comes from DV Amateur, and DV writes in response to, I will not listen to AI generated music, a mailbag I did in December 2023. I might get through to the end of this session without losing my voice. The AI in music would be a long debate. Things like that we simply welcome with open arms. It all started with pre-recorded music. With the invention of the phonograph, musicians were no longer needed to perform in their homes. We simply played a cylinder or a disc. Their magnetic form of storage of electronic information allowed us to slice and paste plastic tape and make automated music. Then came sequencers, which basically sped up the tape editing a whole lot, and then we had auto accompaniments, arpeggiators, and some sort of algorithmic music generation tools such as Korg Karma. Now so-called AI arpeggiators are becoming more popular. Furthermore, AI is being used to generate the assembler code to make instruments such as hydrosynth. So nobody complained so far. Now all of a sudden we complain that there are some sites generating music using algorithms. Shouldn't we have started to complain decades ago? In my opinion, we probably should have done, and I'm going to leave it at that.